So it wasn't a happy cricket day yesterday, but there was a happy thing that happened for India yesterday. The very first Indian astronaut is about to be at the space station. Only the second Indian astronaut sent into orbit, as far as I understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yep.
Hello, hello. With their good luck charm.
Yep. It's true. We weren't with them yesterday.
Nope.
So, Night Riders.
Hate to say it, but
I know you're playing again tomorrow. That's pretty quick, but
yeah,
if
send
you
us
want,
out.
send us out. If you have us and the flags, you're winning.
Hey, welcome back to our Stupid Rex of Korbin.
I'm Rick.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter for more juicy content. Thank you to our users on Patreon. Follow us Twitter account, subscribe and Telegram.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Today, we're doing a movie review. And it's of the new 2025 Tamil film, Tourist Family.
Tourist Family.
By Abish Javith. Written and directed by him. Starring MS Bhaskar, Yogi Babu, big ensemble piece here. And if you haven't seen mine and Steph's watch along of it, please obviously go watch that and then come back if you'd like to see that. People also wanted Rick's opinion on the film, so we are here and we're going to do a discussion of it here. So if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Come back. This will be a 100% spoiler review.
100% spoiler, so, assuming you've all seen it.
Rick, your initial thoughts of Tourist Family?
Bronze, right out the gate. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. There's the parts of it that were problematic. A lot of folks would disagree with me about because there's I think an audience for it that would appreciate the very simple, not realistic, what the world needs now is love, sweet love, and I love that message about it. I had one of the main things, and I saw you said this as well, guys. All industries. We're about to go into 2026 in a few months. Can we please stop doing dubbing? Because it's the number one thing.
That was a big issue.
Yeah, the number one thing in a movie is believability. Do I believe you? Nowhere in life do I ever walk with people and not hear background sounds and hear a voice coming out of their mouth that wasn't happening in real time. So I will bounce up and down on that mountain for weeks on end. There were parts of it where there were emotional evocations that didn't work for me. Like the kid at the funeral, when he was sharing the stuff and they did a flashback with him and his mom.
Oh, gotcha.
That was a moment where I've often referred to that you didn't have enough of a deposit to make a withdrawal on the emotion there. It didn't come across as something that was emotionally sensitive for me. It came off of something that was emotionally kind of trying to manipulate me to feel a certain way when I didn't have any connection to the kid. I understand it, and I could see how there's people who might enjoy that. I don't. Another thing for believability that happened a couple times is please stop wiping away tears that don't exist. That's another thing. I can't believe you're crying if you wipe away tears that aren't there. There were a lot of things that typically I would enjoy, but there were so many of them I was like, okay, we're not this, like the fact the dog just ends up at his feet at the end, and the fact that the whole block has come out onto the street to meet him again. It felt like High School Musical, but it's not a High School Musical film. It wanted it to be taken seriously a little bit. So those are the main reasons I couldn't walk away from this giving it a silver for it being excellent, but I still enjoyed it. There was more that I took away that I enjoyed. We can talk a lot more about that.
No, I understand your points. I really enjoyed this film, and Steph did as well. I think you should call it the review, but I think it's because the whole point of this, and because I had some of the, I think I said in the review, if I can remember correctly, I could never make this movie because it's incredibly optimistic about everything.
Yeah,
in terms of like immigration and
even for me being an optimist, it was too optimistic.
It's very optimistic, but Steph actually made she's like, it's what the world should be. It's what the world should be like with people
loving and caring.
And I did actually hear, I saw some comments after the fact that said, this actually is more realistic than you could probably appreciate, because as Tamilians and Sri Lankans, they have this, some people said they have this inherent love and familial connection based off language that obviously we would never be able to. Obviously, I'm not saying it's totally realistic, but that's an element that we wouldn't be able to get.
Sure. I appreciated the fact that everybody in the town was speaking with the same Sri Lankan accent in their Tamil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That just was hard for me to swallow with the believability factor that everybody on the block that the guy talked to would have it. Mm-hmm. I know that they could have done it just to do it in the moment. So for me, that was a double-edged sword. I understood the sentiment and I thought it was sweet, but it also, the believability factor was tough for me.
This is one of the ones that you just, I think you kind of just have to let it be what it wants to be. And then that's a extremely optimistic movie.
Right.
Just like, this is what we wish the world was.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of film it was trying to make.
Right.
It wasn't, at least in my eyes, you guys can disagree with me, I don't think it was trying to be this solely fully realistic movie of immigration.
No.
I think obviously it took elements of it, and that it wanted people to, obviously, and also the immigration is very different from what it is here in America. The immigration situation here is bleak, to say the least. I was actually, at the end of it, I was like, could a movie like this ever be made about immigration in the United States? And I feel like even if like somebody came out and like, I'm trying to portray the most optimistic view of immigration, people would be like, that's disingenuous.
Disingenuous because there's
but also
it's not an optimistic journey.
Granted, our immigration situation right now is completely unhinged, and so that
has been for a long time.
That's a completely different situation.
Yeah, but that was something else for me that was on. It's such a mixed feeling I have about it. Immigration in general, in terms of, I don't understand that you can't just go where you want to go.
Yeah.
I understand that you want to keep bad actors out of places. You want to keep people who have bad intentions and have criminal backgrounds. I get that. I understand the screening of stuff. But the amount of loops and legalities and things that are done and the crushing of people just because they want to try to be somewhere, that's rough. On the other hand,
sorry if the audio conked out there for a bit. The cord came undone.
Comes undone.
Anyways, you were saying.
So on the one hand, you want people to be able to come and go and not persecute people who are just wanting to make a better life for themselves.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, there are certain laws that they may not be just, but at the times there are certain laws that you do have to follow the law. So, for example, it was difficult for me. They got here on the boat, but then they had Yogi Babu forge fake IDs for them.
Yep.
So they were breaking the law.
Yeah.
They needed to be busted for that. Yeah. No, I know you're okay with breaking the law. I'm not.
It's an imaginary law.
No.
Yeah, it is.
It's not imaginary. It's an actual, it's a real.
Borders are imaginary, Rick.
Well,
they're a made-up thing. Anyways, go on. It's not an immigration talk.
So that aspect of it, and I did, and this will really bother those of you who are like, Rick, why couldn't you just watch it and enjoy it for what it is? Because it's a movie, and there are certain standards that happen when you make a movie. There were just some things in the writing. I'm going to use a big word, dramaturgically, that didn't work for me. But I did enjoy. Let's talk about the stuff, because I've been talking about the stuff that I didn't like, which made it a bronze rather than a silver or a gold or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I really enjoyed everybody's performances. I thought everybody was, except for the dubbing, they were believable. I believe this was a real family.
Yeah.
Even for as ridiculous as the kid was.
I loved him.
I thought, I believe that kid was that kid.
I want to do that dance.
Yeah, I believe that kid was that kid.
I really want to do that dance.
Yeah, right from the get-go when he's talking to them and he's making up the story of he's almost a little Sherlocky in the way he came up with the story about his dog.
Yeah.
So It's a film, again, even though I mentioned as much of it that I didn't like, it's a bronze for me. I enjoyed it. If someone were watching it and said, hey, you want to watch this with me? I might watch it with them again. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. It's not. I would tell people, "Hey, I could see how there'd be people who really love the film, and there'd be people who say, I didn't like this at all." But I think for what they set out to do, you said it.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to make a real op-ed piece on immigration.
No,
this was a story about a family from Sri Lanka trying to live and be okay in India, and should be treated with respect and kindness, not be treated like criminals.
Yeah. And there was a deeper underlying thing between Tamil and Sri Lanka.
Right, that I'm sure we wouldn't comprehend.
Because obviously those two are right next to each other, and they have a long history.
Yeah.
That I think they also share I think, is Sri Lanka and Tamil pretty similar?
I believe they are, because there's so many Tamilians in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing, too. I liked another aspect of it that had a little bit of a moral message to it was the cop wasn't just out to get them because he was a law enforcer.
Yeah.
The cop was out to get them to save his own ass. And that happens a lot, where people lose sight of the fact that what I'm supposed to be doing is supposed to be within the realms of the law. And there are times where if someone breaks the law, I've broken the law and had a cop just give me a warning.
Yeah.
You know, there are,
and the guy
those guys deserve just a warning because they're not lawbreakers.
The guy that was, killed someone,
right,
is trying to blame an immigrant,
right,
which
right.
totally isn't relatable nowadays.
Yeah, and that is the problem. Is there should be everywhere a way for people who are living peaceably and they're not criminals and they're really making a contribution to community. They shouldn't be living under the fear that they're going to be treated like criminals.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the dad's performance.
I did too. I thought he did very well.
And
so did the mom.
Yeah, I thought they all did a really nice job. I thought the kid was just very funny.
I thought the kids were great. I thought I liked, it didn't divert. I liked the little love interest story that was going on between the son and the girl, and his girl having been married off.
Yeah. It was, like I said, a very optimistic view on life, on immigration, on relations, on community.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, a movie I could never make, but I appreciate it a lot. To just see something that I'm like, I could never make a movie like this. Mine would be the complete opposite.
It would. And even for me, who's the biggest optimist, it was a bit saccharine. It was a bit Disneyfied for me, right? Even the fact that the dog even showed up at the end, let alone was at his feet at the end. When he went to pick up the dog, I went, "Oh man, come on!"
Sometimes you like sometimes you like to feel good.
Oh man!
Sometimes you're like, wouldn't it be nice if everything played out like a movie?
Yeah,
especially in
and wouldn't it be nice if a whole community got well? We're actually seeing it here. For those of you who don't know, we are seeing a whole community rally around immigrants in Los Angeles, and be there for them.
I don't even know if it's around immigrants. I think it's more just against people taking their people.
It's the both. Because here
we're talking about ICE.
It's one thing to want to enforce immigration law and make sure that people who are breaking the law don't get away with breaking the law. But what ICE is doing here in Los Angeles is they're not looking for people that they've done any background on. They're just going out and throwing out a big trawl chain out in the water. They're going to Home Depots because they know that that's where guys go to get hired to do work. They'll go to Lowe's. They showed up at Dodger Stadium to just do a blanket, and Dodger Stadium said, "No, you can't come in."
Yeah.
So it's a tough
situation.
Tough situation. Yeah, tough situation.
But yeah, it's let us know what you thought about this movie.
Yogi Babu was brutally underutilized.
It wasn't his story.
I know.
I know. If he produced it, did he produce it?
I thought we'd have more Yogi Babu.
No, he didn't produce it, or at least it's not showing. And did you recognize this guy?
Yeah, but I don't remember from where.
Parking.
Oh, that's right. From Parking.
Yeah.
You know what? This is if I were to recommend this movie to anybody and say this is a great film for something, I think this is a great film to show your kids, to introduce them to the reality of what, like right now, there's a lot of kids hearing here about ICE and immigration, and they can't really wrap their head around. Once they start to wrap their head around what does that mean for someone to be an immigrant, I think this is a really good movie to show kids, to introduce them to the idea of what immigration is.
Yeah. And then show them Schindler's List.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. My grandpa showed me The Godfather when I was 7, so my dad took me to Jaws when it released.
Wild.
Explains a lot about me.
Anyways, let us know what you thought about the movie. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, whatever your thoughts are down below.